The rise of the crack cocaine problem across America is unprecedented. Its effects have been particularly devastating in the African American community, where crack cocaine addiction has become epidemic. Recovery from drug abuse is a long-term process. Experts and professionals agree on the need for culturally based approaches to recovery. What you are about to see is one minister's approach using his network, resources, and theology to address this problem in his community.
Person after person who was looking for some place to immediately find some relief. And I said, we must become that place. So about mid-March of 1988, I began the process. After that first meeting, it felt good, it looked good, it began to have some shape and form to it. And then we decided we'd start having open meetings at 5 o'clock every day, and that's what we began to do. People were ready, they were ready to be open and honest and to immediately open up, making sure that natural birth was part of the natural process of recovery, that people must be honest and open and face themselves for who they really are. That's pregnancy. So once pregnancy begins, in the natural birth, the child grows, the fetus grows, but with that growth is the placenta, which is the membranes that surrounds that child in its birth and nourishes that child. And so we used as a symbol the placenta, but we were really talking about a support group for the birthing of recovery for the first generation. Today there was an experience that the placenta went through, and I want Joe to just say something about that, of how this group, which may be commonly called the support group, but I don't call it that. To me, it's a placenta. It nourishes, which means, and it gets nourishment, that is not codependent. It is not a codependency issue. It is an issue of nourishment. See, I'm convinced that a lot of us have been through so much, we need a kind of nourishment that a lot of other folks don't need in recovery. See, we've got so many problems on our head, so many problems. If we don't get some relief from some of them, then recovery is not, then our recovery is much more difficult. What we need to do is take off where you going to stay tonight. Where you go, you have to go to jail tomorrow. Are you going to be fed the next day?
And the message I got from the judge the first time he was there, when Maurice was sentenced, was that, you come to the court for selling crack cocaine, you're going to do 4 years. And automatically, no discussion, no negotiating. And I felt that our participation in Maurice's case on his behalf spared him a whole lot of heartache and a whole lot of pain. I understand he may not understand that at this time, but I know for a fact that if he was sentenced for 4 years at a state penitentiary, that his life would have been a lot worse than it is right now.
He is a person who was going to get 4 years, by the way, in the state penitentiary, and the judge ruled this morning that he would only get a year. And I guess it's at San Bruno, right?
Yeah, he's supposed to be going to
San Bruno. And what happened was that there were members of the placenta who went to court with him today in a role that expressed their feelings for being with him and trying to make sure that he did not find himself under pressure. At least they were there to help try to provide a way for people to know that for him to know that he really had their their support and their love and their concern. And they reached out in a very significant way.
And Carol is witness to that. I approached him because of the depression he was in. And it really bothered me because I knew that another couple more days he'd be inside there with the rest of those people. But by the placenta, by the support group, I mean, he had a new spirit. He was blessed. He was blessed and didn't know it. And he was blessed with having us to support him. He was blessed when the judge gave him 7 months, and he should have been doing 4 years.
That, you know, I like what you just said, because that is a blessing, isn't it? See, it's a blessing to have a community of people, a family, a placenta. It's a blessing to know that there are folks who will be standing there waiting before the judgment comes, before the, you hear what I'm saying? Before the decision is made, that there are people there who are standing with one when that decision is made. That's right. See? It's very important.
I admire Maurice too. I admire Maurice. So we got to admire him because I guess because of the school of placenta, but me myself personally, if I knew they actually had to let me out and tell me to turn myself in 2 weeks, and I'm thinking basically 4 years, I'd have jumped. I'd have left. I'd have took the chance. But then, okay, I think then about how the group was and how the placenta was, how strong and powerful it was, that's why I don't like to stay in such a group.
And what Eddie had said about if he was facing 4 years, he would have ran. We were going to run. If he had got the 4 years, we had talked about it, and we had thought it out and everything, and if he had to do 4 years, he wasn't going to turn himself in. We had already decided that, and with the help of the group and Senate and everybody, guys got him off with a couple months. Thanks.
But there's a message also that we ought to make sure that the people in urban America get and any other place that they get. And that is that you got to be responsible. You've got to be, and if you're not responsible, you have to suffer the consequences of being irresponsible. So if you're going to smoke, you got to suffer the possibility and the consequences of those possibilities, you see.
What I've discovered in being in the placenta group is that we're really like the best, if you could have the best family in the whole world. There's no anger, there's no judgment, it's totally unconditional love. But with that unconditional love, we're giving people, helping to give people guidelines about how not to be homeless, how to have a job, how to go to school, how to make up with their own personal family or whatever to get their lives together. And there's tremendous healing going on. So that's what the placenta does.
One of the really, really great things about Glide that we all know is the feeling of belonging. And I kind of, like a lot of us, had to be a lone stranger. And the Cosmos gave me something a bit unique to do. And I'm working with being a placenta, as we all are in our own way, to the whole planet, so that we can have a world based on this kind of feeling for each other.
I'm glad that I'm a part of this family, and my contribution is ultimately my recovery, and I can see myself contributing because this is my family, and I know most of you, and I'm not going to sit here and let you deny in front of me. You know, there's no reason to. So I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to have that little advantage of having my family here because, you know, I know things are really starting to grow. The placenta being here, there's so many positive people here. The potential is really here. Let's not mess it up. I love this program. I'm happy to be here.
We have a family. We've got a collective. It's like a tribe, and we share experiences together. We know that society has its influences. We go out into society, our credit is messed up, we've got legal problems. The placenta's helping us with that, but society continues to be a problem. We've got our family and our support group here. Now inside of that is you as an individual person, with individual strengths, weaknesses, experiences. It's time to get into that more deeply. It takes the one-on-one kind of session to do that. So this is a good time for that. We're talking about even employment and work and your loves, your bliss. What do you do with your life? You know, are you an artist? Are you a scientist? You know what I mean? Who are you? And what do you want to do with your life? We're at a point now where not only can you get in touch with yourself, but you've got the kind of support around here and extended through Cecil and others of us to help you launch a new life. And that's what we're talking about.
This has been a place for me to get a lot of my recovery. And I'm in a couple of 12-step programs. And if you knew me 5 years ago, you wouldn't have believed that I could be the person that I am today. There's been alcoholism in my life since I was a child, and probably my family before that. And I was abused. You know, I hear a lot of talk about having been abused here by whoever, when you were growing up, when people were growing up. I was abused as a kid. And my life was awful until I got into a 12-step program 5 years ago. And I, like Bonnie, can't say enough about 12-step programs in recovery because for me, what a 12-step program does is to give me the tools to make anything possible in my life. As long as I keep my eye on the road and have the help of my higher power, whom I choose to call God.
And I think for the placenta group, it's extremely important that we be real sensitive to the fact that we probably all have a little bit of codependency, and some of us have a whale of a lot in us. And that it's real important that we don't accept anybody's bullshit. And that does not mean we're rejecting you. It just means that we're not going to accept anybody's bullshit.
I have been in labor all week. All of you have been kicking. So much love has been expressed. So much recovery is going on in this room and has gone on in this room.
Amen.
I'm glad to have been a part of it. I'm in recovery also. It has helped me tremendously.
I came here a drug addict in bad shape, really bad shape. I mean, I was shot to the curb, gone. I literally escaped from Passaic County. They wanted me there badly. They wanted to send me to prison. Right now, I'm still on 3 years court probation. To honestly say, my drug addiction started when I was in Vietnam, 1968. This is a sad 20th anniversary of being a drug addict. I did some horrible things where I saw a lot of bad things. I won't go into that. I'm sure everybody knows, can imagine the details of it. My drug addiction, like I said, started in Vietnam. I'm sure somewhere in the government's mind they have to share some responsibility for that, but the responsibility for the recovery is totally mine. I came here, like I said, bad shape, just out of jail. I went to the VA hospital here in San Francisco in order to justify leaving Merced County because they didn't want to let me go. They wanted me in prison. I went to the VA hospital, stayed out there for about a month. I immediately came here to Glide. I heard about Glide several times over through television programs. I remember seeing the Reverend Cecil Williams and his daughter on TV with her problem with crack cocaine. I knew it through. I was hungry, no place to go, no job, no nothing. He took me in, I signed up, I got involved with the voluntary work here. I participated in the drug program, Nubians, base group 1, base group 2. He fed me, I volunteered work, I did voluntary work down here. He got me back to health, and I must give a lot of thanks and praise to him. I was in several VA over the past 2-3 years, I've been in several VA programs, such as Menlo Park, Palo Alto. I got kicked out of every one of them. First, I was required to give a urinalysis. First time I gave a dirty test, out I went. This is the first man here who has never abandoned me because of my weakness. I'd also like to add, this is the first time in 7-8 years that I've had a job. I still have problems. I haven't fully recovered, but I'm working. I'm struggling. I'm working on it, and hopefully with some more guidance and help and support from people like you. I also like to add that I joined church last Sunday too. And the counseling staff here has been very, very helpful. Rafiq, I haven't seen my mother or contacted my mother in over 2 years. Last week he served as a mediator between myself and my mother and got in contact with her. So I will be talking to my mother soon. I also like to add that I was wounded twice in Vietnam. I just came within a hair of losing my life over there. So life is pretty special to me. The only way I knew how to deal with life and problems was through drugs, and that carried on up until today. But like I said, with the help of people like you, the base group, Nubians, the new generation, and especially the Reverend Cecil Williams, I will recover. Thank you for your patience.
You may be called an advisory group, but we're going to be down here, we're going to call you the backbone. Can you accept that? All right, we got it. I just want you to see them, to know, so you will know that there are folks out there who want to do something with you and with me. They're not just standing out there waiting, they're standing out there saying, what can we do? And here, some of them are. We've got some 40 or 50 people who committed themselves to stand with us. And when I say us, who am I talking about? I'm talking about the Haight-Ashbury Free Clinic, with David Smith and Herb over here. And then we got my man who's been here before, who constantly comes down and the pharmaceuticologist and gives us the proper information, you know, about how it affects the brain, how you act when you don't know you acting that way. You know. Daryl is now the doctor is now right here. Come on, stand up, Daryl. That's her right there. Now, the Haight-Ashbury Free Clinic, David Smith is here. He has that. And he'll come up in just a minute. The Haight-Ashbury Free Clinic, Peter Bell, and the Black Chemical Dependency Program in Minneapolis and GLIDE have combined our efforts. And here's the backbone that's helping the arms and the legs to keep walking. You hear me? So we've now got a joint effort. It's a 3-pronged thrust. 3 groups working together. Peter Bell.
The backbone goes, do I collapse here? Well, it's a pleasure to be here with you this evening. I was talking with Rafiq earlier about the project that you've got going here, the efforts that you're doing, and I was kind of struggling to get a sense and an understanding of it. And Rafiq did a very good job of helping me do that. Cecil kind of built on that, spoke with David, but I don't think I got as good a sense until I came into this room and saw all of you here tonight, listening to people talk about some of the issues and problems that they have gone through. And I don't think I quite felt as comfortable also as I came in here, because you see, I'm also a recovering addict. I've been off of heroin and cocaine over 16 years now. that you have said, I'm again touched and reminded of that it is still a day-to-day struggle for me. That there isn't a problem that is so bad, that is so traumatic, that drugs don't make worse. And that was one of the real keys to my recovery and to my continuing to stay off of both alcohol and drugs. It is an honor for me to work with Glide and the Haight-Ashbury Clinic in continuing to address problems of addiction in our community. There isn't one issue that any of us face, job-related issues, relationship, housing issues, that weren't negatively affected or made worse by our use of alcohol or drugs. And I have been moved to come in here tonight and to talk to you all, and to not just talk to you, but to really be a part of your efforts. And I'm touched by it, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
My good and close friend, and a member of Glide, David Smith.
As a member of the Glide community and representative of the Haight-Ashbury Free Clinic, I want to thank Cecil for bringing us all together. I've been working with problems of addiction now for well over 20 years, and I've had an opportunity to see the tragedy of addiction, the death, the destruction, the disruption of family, the number of people overdosing and dying. The thing that keeps me going in this field is to see recovery. People learning to live a comfortable and responsible life without the use of psychoactive drugs. Role models such as Peter Bell, who's been clean for 16 years, and some of you here that are struggling in your very early stages of recovery. That's the thing that keeps me going. That's the thing that inspires me. So I want to thank you for sharing your stories, and particularly I want to thank Cecil for his inspiration and leadership in bringing us all together, facilitating recovery, and having such a positive impact in all of our lives. Thank you, Cecil.
Yeah. Those of you that are shot to the curb, those of you that are whipped down to nothing, those of you that are tired and want to slow down, we invite you to come on Sunday, and I'm going to ask you to come up, and you will become a part of the second generation. And your birth will be December the 25th, Christmas. Let me see, somebody else was born that day. Who was it? Yeah. You know what I'm saying there, don't you? Don't you? All right? And every few months we're going to have a new generation born. And we're going to let the world know. And first of all, the black community know. And then the world know that they may think that blacks are going to kill themselves. But we're going to have new birth of generations of black people and whites who are on crack cocaine. And anybody else, I don't care what color you are. We're going to have generations of people to keep coming forward. Because what we got to do is build a new generation constantly. Because the younger generation and those sub-teenagers that are selling crack at 13, 14, 15 years old, 9 and 10, we got to make sure that they come to understand that they can sell that stuff to us no more.
Right on. How you doing, brother? How's the recording turn out?
Good, man. I got it.
You got it?
Yeah.
You're looking good, man.
Thank you.
Good, good.
I try to dress good because when I dress good, I feel good.
Okay.
Where are we going? To Freedom Mall? No. 6 is open. Oh, okay. That's what.
I'm camera shy. Not unless I'm going to Hollywood.
All right. Yes, sir. How you doing? Hey, JB.
Hello, brother.
Hi, brother. How you doing? Right on, brother. Right on. Yeah. Placenta. This you will have cards. You're going to be given cards. The placenta. And it says the Placenta Glide Church, being born who I am in the new family. That's what it says on the front for the placenta. I am the new family. I am the placenta. I stand with generations who are being born. I work for the independence of every man, woman, and child. I give and I receive. I love and I am loved. The new spirit lives in me, and I live in this spirit, the new spirit. That's for the placenta. Okay? For the new generation, this is a new one for them. It says, being born black in the new family. That's what the card says on the outside. I am the new generation. I am recovering. Every day is my birth. I feel my power. I feel my self-esteem. I am being my new self. Now I am loving. Now I am giving. Now I am living. The Spirit is living in me, and I am living in the Spirit. That's for the new generation. This is the first time we've ever done this in my 25 years. Never done anything like this before in my life. This is a new experience for me. It will be for many of you. I don't think that you'll experience what you're experiencing if you had gone through anything similar to this. You would not experience what you're going to experience here today anyway. Number one. Number two, I think we're making history. I really do. I think we're making history. And I think in making history, we're going to look back in a year from now, or even 6 months from now, and say, my God, it's unbelievable what we've done since then. And we're going to make some mistakes, just like everybody in the group is going to make mistakes, whatever group. But we learn by it, and what I'm doing is picking up on some of the things that you've done, and I think we've got a new, I don't want to call it a support group, because I'm trying to stay away from some of that terminology. I think you are placenta. You nourish and you get nourished. You nourish and you get nourished. You nourish and you get nourished. And that's what happens, I think, with the group. May the Spirit move us that what we do is not for show or for arrogance or for pretense, but may the Spirit live in us and we walk with the Spirit, so much so that we will be authentic and loving. Amen. And what we have here this morning are people who are being born. Born from the old to the new. Born from destruction and death to life and resurrection. The people that are here this morning on this stage are first of all members of the new generation. They're recovering from crack cocaine. And sitting with them, go ahead. Are members of the placenta, which is the membranes of the fetus, which nourishes the fetus and also gets nourishment from the fetus. The placenta is a group of people who I ask to come into existence, to be with the recovery, the birthing of those who are engaged in new ways, new thoughts, new feelings, new understandings of themselves. And the placenta is something that we started, and I didn't know where we were going, and I still don't know where we're going, but I know one thing: it has sure created a new direction for us in how we work with people, and not be codependents, but work with them so they can have that independence. This is a member of the placenta.
Nobody knew where this was going when he started. And what has happened is that we have learned to respect each other, to learn that we can have different opinions, to love each other in a very special way. I started this Afghan, a baby Afghan, it was good size, at the time that the group started meeting. And I just wanted to point out that this is kind of like building a new life, because I started out with Richard Warren. And if you look at it, it's finished now. I finished it last night, so I could bring it here today. If you look at the back of it, I left a few strings loose, because in a new life, there are always a few strings that need to be tied. And so to me, this blanket is kind of a symbol of what is going on here at Glide in the new generation. And so I'm very proud to be a part of this whole thing. Thank you.
And the new generation and all members and friends. It's truly a blessing to be here. And I guess y'all got used to me on this night now on Sunday, but I'm truly, truly blessed. The program Facts on Track is working family. The placenta has been working with us. Reverend Cecil listening to us. The new generation, we listening to one another, cussing each other out, fighting, fussing. And this is truly a blessing. I want you to know I got my weight back, had to cut my hair, so that's all coming back too. But this has truly been a blessing. I'm looking at my two sons. Please stand up, Nadia and Wanda. But this is truly a blessing. Cecil and Jan, I love you, I love you, I love you.
My name is Jesse. And today, I'm truly blessed. Today, I'm grateful for all of y'all. I came here 5 months ago, truly dying of a crack cocaine.
Come on with it, Jeff.
Get the truth, Jeff.
This is today, you know, I feel so good, better than I ever felt in my life. Because I changed my life and moved to God. And then I walked through the doors, the Reverend William here at Glide, and got on my way to recovery. off of crack cocaine. And it's been 4 greatest months of my life. It changed my life. The people around me, in the support groups, people here at Glide, people here in this church, people in this community, have gave me an opportunity to live. And you people that support, you people just don't know how important that you have played in one individual's life, to change his life from dying to living and want to live. God bless you. This is my slogan. God bless you. I want to use this because God truly has blessed me.
I was talking to a young man the other day, and during the course of the conversation, a little slogan that I know all of you are familiar with came into play. And the slogan was, the grass is always greener on the other side. Okay? So it got me to thinking, you know, I grew up on the green grass. And during the course of my life, I just couldn't refrain from hopping the fence, okay? Not knowing, hey, you're already on the green grass. Don't hop the fence, okay? But I hopped the fence anyway, and I ended up on the brown grass. Which everybody knows is the dead grass, okay? So I just want to, again, give thanks to Cecil, his church, all the things that have happened to us here, and when I say us, I mean me and my 2 children, because since we've been here, we popped back over to the green grass.
For women on the move.
Right.
I know little, I scarcely see. Fear eats at my eyelids like mold, afraid of who she is. Their voices blood red, velvet like roses with thick thorns, persistent as the pain from puncture wounds. She, one, wants her children back. She, too, is sterile. She, 3's teeth are dissolving and her hair is falling out. She, 4, hasn't menstruated in 4 months, not pregnant. I remember I gave she, 1 a serpent-headed belt to celebrate her child's birth. The child, her 3rd, born lethargic. She didn't remember labor pains. She was hitting the pipe. She, 1's old man would beat her for disappearing. They were arguing and she didn't know she was sitting on her baby's face, who is now more lethargic. I know little, I scarcely see. Their words like roses, thick-thorned. She, 3, says she was raped at 12. She killed herself at 12. Buried the child in a dank tomb. And got high, so when she was raped again and again by her battering husband, she wouldn't feel the pain. She, 4, is a computer programmer. She lost her job, her car, her house, her children. She, too, says she used to beat women. She desires women, but she needed to hear them scream, so it drowned the sound of her own screams. She, 1, led a John Popper 3-year-old child for $50. I know little. I scarcely see. Afraid to know who she is. She feels abandoned, unloved by her father. She needs someone to meet her, so she had her first child at 14. She was raped by the men in and out of her mother's life. She thinks she is nobody without a man. She hates all men because they killed her mother. She has been taught that thought is ugly, but her body makes her somebody. She was taught that women are her enemies
because they steal her men. She thinks he will stay if she gives him her welfare check. She says nothing matters except the pipe that kills the pain, that murders care. She will do anything, lose everything for crack. We know more, less afraid to see who she is, peeling away the petals of red, bloody roses. She has opened the tomb, found her 12-year-old hiding in the darkness. She leads her into the daylight, brings her food, watches her grow in her own body. She has stopped using crack. Today, it is very hard. She is studying for her GED. She is not homeless anymore. She is gaining custody back of her children. She no longer hears the woman who is she scream. She is loving to her sisters. She is telling the men to hear her thoughts. Bouquets are flowering, blood-red roses. We smell their sweetness. I see, she, me. The child emerges from the dark graveside. Her pale hands grasp roses. We feed her petals. Today, she blooms within our bodies.
First of all, let me say that I'm really fascinated with words. I study words, the origin of words, the meanings, and I've been able to uncover some extremely important meanings at the roots of many of the words that we take for granted and that we use on a day-to-day basis. I believe that words have power. Sometimes I play with words. I'd like to play with two words with you today in relationship to everything that we're doing here. The two words are akin to each other. One of the words is history, and the other word is mystery. If you look at the word history and the word mystery, particularly, we're pretty familiar with history. But mystery, in a way, is my story. We're making history here today. History within the whole field of recovery. History within the field of human concern and care. But we're also making mystery here today. And it's the mystery of us that I want, of each and every one of us, that I want to appeal to now, and I want to touch if I possibly can. Share this journey with me. Each and every recovering dependent that's here is not here by accident. And brothers and sisters, I want you to meditate on that for a moment. Why are you here today? Why are you sitting before this congregation today? Why are you with Cecil Williams, myself, Jan, and others? It is not by accident we meditate on it. It's not by accident because there was something in your heart and in your mind before this program got started that was saying to you, whispering to you, sometimes even hollering to you, to stop using crack cocaine. You wanted this. In a way, you conjured this up. You created this. Why is it that you are here today and others are standing across the street still using drugs and using drugs all over the city? The difference between you and them is that this call from Cecil conjuncted with something in the very darkness of your soul and the mystery of you that you wanted, and that's why you're here. This is not an accident. Your reaching this plateau and this stage in your life is not an accident. It's something in you that has survived, that is decent, that is strong, and that is essentially spiritual. And it is the spiritual solution that is working with people that are kicking drugs. It's important for us as a people, black people, to study our history. And one of the most wonderful things that comes out of that study of history is we find, whether you go back through the Moors in Spain, the learning centers of Timbuktu, back to ancient Egypt and ancient African civilizations, whenever African people flowered, our flowering was based in a belief in God, God consciousness, the primacy of spirit. That's been a part of us since time immemorial. We have not lost that. You have not lost that. Otherwise, you would not be here. So when I say study the history of black people, I'm talking about studying the history of our spirituality that has brought the whole solution to blood plasma and blood banks to this country and to this world. That solved some of the problems in the South as far as the economics of the South. That brought the world the first position in Hotep. That brought the world mathematics. That brought the world the calendar. That's part of our heritage. And by studying that heritage, we gain strength. And by meditating and studying sometimes and meditating upon our grandmothers and our grandfathers, those that strove so hard for us to survive and for us to grow and develop, we're studying the same thing. We're studying the history of black people. We're studying the history of a very spiritual people and a very strong spiritual people. And that's you, brothers and sisters. This is just a plateau, a wonderful, exciting plateau that we've reached here today on the 6th of November in 1988. But there's going to be the 7th of November, there's going to be the 8th, there's going to be the 10th and the 20th. There's going to be December, January of 89. God willing, there's going to be 90 and 95 and 2000. As long as you tap into that level of spiritual strength that is your heritage, you'll be able to continue to transform your lives and not only improve the life of you and your family, but also improve the life of many, many thousands and tens of thousands of other people, just by your example. Thank you.
All you got to do is tell the truth. Tell your story. Don't get up here. Well, I got something, but I can't let y'all know about it. You know what? You ain't got nothing we don't know about it anyway. Don't you know that? We know all about you because we know all about ourselves. Wait, you didn't hear what I said. We know all about you because we know all about ourselves. You see? See? Now, let me just end this real quick. What happens is, and then Aaron, this is over on chapter 4, we're going down to about the 26th verse or whatever. And Aaron spoke all these words which the Lord had spoken to Moses and did the signs in the sight of the people. And the people believed, and when they heard that the Lord had visited the people of Israel, and that he had seen their affliction, they bowed their heads and worshiped. When he had seen their affliction, they bowed their heads and worshiped. And then down about in the 5th chapter, the 2nd verse, it says, let my people go. Let my people go. Let you go. You must go. You've heard, you've cried, you've done everything to become visible. And something happens when you become visible. You cannot be invisible no more if you understand your visibility, because it means that you have come from a child, from a baby, to a new person, and therefore you are on the new Exodus. And the new Exodus means that you leave the old place where your captivity is and go to a new land and never give up until you get there. You got to listen to this because this is new. This is very new. Our greatest problem, the problem with all of us, the reason it is difficult to have community, is because of the absence of love. Well, I know a lot of folks say, I love you, I love you. You know you lie. Amen. I know a lot of you, I hate the Ku Klux Klan. I hate a lot of folks. But I'm trying to love everybody. Because I know I can't just love y'all without loving them. You hear me? You hear me? Wait a minute, let me tell you. Man was here at 9 o'clock from Alabama. Young man, he came downstairs, embraced me, and he said, you know what? I'm from Alabama, but I'm not a member of the Klan. I said, brother, even if you were, I've already embraced you this morning. Because I was embraced by something that I didn't even know embraced me. years ago. You hear me? You hear me? See, the problem with community is the absence of love. And one theologian puts it this way. He said, when the absence of love is not there, the absence of God is not there. You can't love yourself if you don't love, you can't love God until you love yourself. Don't you know that? So it don't need all of these so-called religious people going around and talking about how much they love God. The question is, do you love yourself? Do you love your brothers and sisters? And then you can talk about loving God. You got to extend your love in concrete experiences so you will know what it means, rather than talking about some belief that you haven't experienced, that you haven't gone through. You better lift yourself out of your captivity and come to understand that you can't hate some and love the others, and you can't love some and hate the others. Everybody has a possibility of coming into a new community, but you got to love them in spite of what they are. If you go over to the New Testament, brothers and sisters, to Galatians, it's way over. It's on page 1021. You know, I didn't bring my reading glasses up here. Man, I'm having a hard time counting these words because they're smaller than the one I've been using. The 5th chapter. No, that's right. I'm on. From the 5th chapter of Galatians. That's 1021, y'all. Underscore that. For freedom Christ has set us free. Stand fast, therefore, and do not submit again to the yoke of slavery. Wait a minute. You have been set free this morning. And if you've been set free, you don't have to go back to slavery no more. It's up to you. It's up to you. It's up to you. It's up to me. We don't have to go back. We've been free. And we had something to do with our freedom. And then the writer of Galatians says, down around the 22nd chapter, but the truth of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control, 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 self-control. We're going to deal with this on Tuesday, y'all. This passage right here. And then he goes on to say, and those who belong to Christ Jesus have crucified the flesh with its passions and desires. If you live by the Spirit, let us also walk by the Spirit. Let us have no self-conceit, no provoking of one another, no envy. My brothers and my sisters, these are themes of liberation. These are themes of independence. These are themes of freedom. These are things that you can take every day and every night with you. And when you start feeling that thing that comes in your head, when you put money in your pocket and that flash that comes to you about you gotta go, I just gotta get a hit, just one, I gotta get a hit. Oh, that money is burning me up. Oh yes, and when you get that money, it starts burning you up, and you go get that one hubba, and you smoke it, and you want another one, and you want another one. Every time you do it, you're going back to your slave ship, and every time you do it, also you are losing the new spirit and the new person that's being born this morning. My brothers and my sisters, I came here to tell you something this morning. There is liberation for everybody if you want it, but you can't go back to the old land. You can't go back to your captivity. You were once a captive, but now you're free. You're free. You're free this morning. That's liberation time. I want anybody who is ready for the second generation? Anybody who's ready to stop? Anybody who's shot to the curb? Anybody who's slowing down? Anybody? Some of you have been meeting with us. I want you to come on up here now. Because this is the second generation. This is the second generation. That will be born on Christmas Day. Did you just hear what I said? And if there's anybody here that's afraid to get up now, you come here tomorrow at 11 o'clock. Somebody said to me when they came down the stairs at 9 o'clock, well, I got a brother. No, you come on yourself. Don't tell me about your brother. You come on. Because your coming might also bring your brother.
We're here to tell you ain't gonna cause you no more trouble. We've been clean for many, many months. We got a very long road, but we're gonna make it over the hump. This is a place where people come together to help each other out and make each other better. True family filled with love and harmony. A place where people can stand up and shout, I am free, I am free. Thank God Almighty, I am free at last. Free from crack, got the stuff right off my back. Free from thugs, I don't need them anymore. Now I can open any door. This whole thing is just about people. People helping people to make a better world. It's just about you, it's just about me. We're all just trying to make ourselves free.